Hi, everyone. Silver Joker here. I'm back again with my good friend, Silver 5150. How you doing, Silver 5150?
Pretty good, guys. Welcome aboard the Silver Train.
So today, we're going to talk about market price versus actual price. But before we get into that, what do you got there?
These are the classic 2008 hyperinflationary banknotes from Zimbabwe. This is a mint condition set, anywhere from $10 trillion to $100 trillion denomination. You guys are familiar with these from my show before. And yes, these are actually mounted on top of some of my OG MK Bar Silver Joker 1 ounce art bars.
Really? Okay.
Yes,
well,
these here.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
these here, yeah.
Nice.
If you look, guys, I'm telling you, if you're serious stackers and you don't have these, you need to figure out a way to get some. You're not going to get mine, but yes, the OG Silver Joker bars are nice. The new ones I think are as nice or nicer. Yeah, get some.
Very nice. Okay, well, my question to you is, can you use those? Are those bills actual currency?
They are no longer currency in the Republic of Zimbabwe. They defunct. They're replaced by newer bills and notes and stuff. And so these are basically just historical artifacts. But I'm going to tell you something interesting about these historical artifacts. So much interest has come into the hyperinflationary space. People want to know about the history and whatnot. You used to be able to get these things for next to nothing or cheap, right?
Oh,
now,
man.
if you want to buy one,
put that picture back. What was that?
So this is the gentleman back in 2008 that was going to the store to get a dozen eggs.
So those are bills right there. He's got in the wheelbarrow.
Those bills.
Got
If you look
two.
at different, yeah, he's got 2 wheelbarrows full in the different colors: the pink, the reds, the greens. Okay, these are all the different bills I've got right here in these denominations. He didn't have enough money to buy eggs, and in fact, he had to use both wheelbarrows just to get that dozen eggs. That's how bad the hyperinflation had got there.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So does it take any less to buy a dozen eggs today?
Well, I think what the new notes, what they did was they actually took, for example, this $100 trillion bill, and they lopped like 9 zeros off of it. So it turned into like a $1,000 bill. And so in that particular case there, yes, they're new, but they're not really new.
Okay,
so
I got you.
it's
so
just
inflation is still out of control there.
Inflation is still out of control there. They're headed back to where they were before, and it's just a cycle they're not going to be able to break out of until they figure out a way to revalue the things that are worth buying. And the best way to do that, of course, we know, is with silver.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
And that brings us to the topic today. So I want to ask you, because you'd be the guy to ask about this. But first, before I ask you this question, I want to let everybody know we are not financial experts. This show today, this podcast today, is not meant to be financial advice. We are telling you based on our own personal experiences and our own personal opinion about stacking silver, buying silver, those kind of things. So if you want sound financial advice, please consult someone who is an expert in that area, and that is not us.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, what is the difference between market price and storefront price?
Well, as far as I can understand, market price and storefront price, or retail price, as a lot of people like to call it, it's basically what the open market charges, in the commodities exchange and says, the value of silver is per ounce per day, versus what the retailers will charge you to actually get an ounce of silver. Now, what needs to be understood is the market price is based upon silver that is in only its, third level of refinement, meaning that it's in a 1,000-ounce bar that has no real, strike features or anything to it. It's just silver. But when you go to the retail market and you want to get yourself an ounce of silver, an art bar, like one of these nice Silver Joker bars, maybe Valcambis, maybe this line of Judah coin, well, there's a strike process in that. And so that's part of the increased premium. The transportation to the facility where you're going to buy it is part of that premium. And so that is the difference in that you will actually hold a completely finished silver product in the retail space. There's extra cost for that versus the market price where you probably won't see your silver. It'll be in a warehouse somewhere and not very glamorous at that.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is there anyone, anywhere, been able to buy silver for, let's say, I think silver today is around $18.86 an ounce. Is there anyone buying silver at that price?
I don't think there is. Now, supposedly there's a process in the CME, the Commodities Exchange, where you can take delivery of a contract that may be at that price, but those are futures contracts, so you'd have to be able to do it later. But I don't think anybody's actually doing that. Even if you want a 1,000-ounce bar nowadays, there's going to be a 10% premium on a 1,000-ounce bar. Okay? So you're not going to get silver for that price anywhere, in my opinion, unless you find somebody just doesn't know what they have and they sell it to you on a cheap, like at an estate sale or something.
Okay, so why even have a market price?
Nowadays, it's nothing more than a tool for manipulation or holding down or suppressing the popularity of silver, in my opinion.
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
One of the things that's kind of lost in our society is that businesses are a business. They're not a charity. They do have to make profits. They have to take those profits to survive. And so they're going to mark their price up to try to make sure that they're solvent. They can stay in business. So you're going to pay that premium with that. But I can tell you this, it's not a one-sided deal. I've seen you talk to Phil before at the coin store, and he's made it clear that, yes, even though you can't buy silver from him at market price and you're going to pay a premium on it, there's a lot of items that he'll buy back from you at greater than market price. So it's a two-way street, and a lot of people don't seem to talk about that.
If somebody comes in and asks me what the price of silver is, and I quote them a price, and they say, well, you're $5 over spot, I say, well, keep in mind we're paying $4 over spot to get it in the door, okay? Right. So that alleviates any idea that we're somehow buying at a different level than we're selling at as far as premiums go. Again, that's just here, and I can't speak for everyone either. So our idea is the fact that if the premiums are going to exist on the selling end, they certainly have to exist on the buying end.
Absolutely. So if I'm valuing my stack, which I really don't value my stack this way, I know a lot of people do. So if you're valuing your stack, how can you value your stack if premiums are different from the market price? No, in other words, if all you have is market price, because everybody's premium is going to be different, how can you value your stack using market price?
Well, the thing is, you don't want to be overly optimistic when you value your stack. You want to expect the least but hope for the best. So if you value your stack, I recommend using the market price. That way you won't be disappointed because you're not going to receive under that. All right. But you can easily go on to any of the online sales arenas, like eBay and some of these places, and you can get yourself a mean or median price for certain items and stuff, and then kind of, adjust that price for that, and then maybe do some multiplication and figure out what your stack may be worth at current retail price. Say, for example, if you're going to buy an eagle, you're going to pay probably about $11 over spot for it, right now. But then if you look online, people that are selling the retail price, they're selling for about that same price or maybe a little bit more because they got to worry about shipping and stuff like that. Well, you take that price and you back it off a little bit, you get yourself a percentage, and you can say like, okay, well, I bought this eagle, I paid this much for it. Right now spot price dropped $2, so I'm going to go ahead and take $2 off of the premium price I paid, and I think I could probably get that for it in the right market.
Okay, so if I was going to buy physical bullion, is it better to buy from the secondary market like eBay or some other selling platform like that, or from, let's say, JM Bullion or AppMax?
The thing is, there is no one-size-fits-all for this. You have to do your due diligence. How bad do you want the silver? How good are you at shopping? Who do you know that has the best deals? Who do you trust? All these things go into the purchase of silver, and the value you obtain is directly correlated to the amount of effort you put into finding the best price in the right medium.
So demand right now is pretty high, as we know. You buy silver, demand is pretty high. And so if you're going to be starting to buy silver today, where would you look? Would you go to the online bullion dealers? I'm talking about you specifically. Would you go to the online bullion dealers, or would you stick more to your brick and mortar places, although you may be limited in what you can buy?
Well, if anybody's followed my history, I made my bones on taking advantage of the big online retailers, their volume pricing, the avoidance of taxes, this sort of thing. The thing is, there is enough competition out there in the primary retail space to where if you take your time and you poke around and you get as close as you can to the item you want, you can save quite a bit of money just taking the time to shop properly on the online retail spaces. So for me, I'm not very close to a coin shop at all. So I kind of have to do that. But again, I hate to, flog a dead horse. You really kind of have to poke around and see who's got what. Now, the chances are you have, a good opportunity to find what you need online, to buy. But the techniques that you use to buy, that's where you actually save the most. So you got to keep that in mind.
Okay, well, talk a little bit about that. I mean, what do you mean by techniques?
Techniques. So techniques, for example, is, you say open up 6 or 7 windows. This is something I learned from the broker. Back in the day, you open 6, 7 windows, you put MC, Monocoin Mart and SD Bullion, JM Bullion, you put all these big online retailers in there, and you compare like items, say 2022 Eagles. And you see who's got the best price for those Eagles, but then once you start poking in there, you're saying like, okay, is that the best price for any quantity, or is that the best price for higher volume? You have to compare that. Once you get in there, you go, well, then how many do I have to buy? Am I a state where I have to pay taxes or not? If I do, can $1,500 help me avoid that? Oh, by the way, do I have $1,500? Did I save enough money for that? But also, you have to look and see when they have these specials and stuff, maybe somebody's actually got a sale on the Silver Eagles, for example. And so you have to do all these things. You have to compare all these different criteria to get yourself the best price and then choose from the result to save in that way.
Well, that sounds to me like you are a professional online bullion buyer. Because I never heard of that before, but that makes so much sense. So are you able to find, like, I know you have a budget that you follow, and you have a certain amount of silver that you want to put into that budget. Are you able to find and get that amount of silver on a regular basis?
I am. And one of the ways I've been doing it, now you guys know I am a huge proponent of these Valcambi silver combi bars, okay? And the thing is, these things come in and out of the primary market really quick. A lot of the big retailers all get them at the same time, which means that probably Valcambi is releasing them from Switzerland, at the same time. And so all of the big retailers are getting them. And once they do that, they'll put them on sale and stuff. And again, now's the time, if you're going to go after something like that, you're going to open up your windows. You're going to see who's got the best price. Right now, I think SD Bullion beats anybody. I think they're in the 130s if you want to get one of those. So I've been saying, okay, if I could just afford one of these every 2 weeks or a month, I'm happy with what I'm adding to my stack. So as it is right now, even in retirement, I'm able to add one of these every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. And this makes me very happy because I've got 100 pieces of silver right here. 100 pieces of silver. And now granted, the premium is high, but you have to think about the possible value down the road, the flexibility, utility of it all, being able to take 1 gram and lever it. What do you think these guys would give for a Valcambi Combi bar right now?
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
And that's a good point right there.
They would have 100 transactions in silver when currency does not matter. It matters right now to us because we got the world's reserve currency. But once that starts to fade away and the metal matters more, you're going to look back on those premiums like they were not that big a deal.
Today, that's what we wanted to talk about. I want to give you some ideas on the difference between spot price and what you're going to pay or sell your silver for. Is there anything you want to add to any of that we just talked about?
I can tell you this, silver prices will go up, and I think some of the catalysts that will make silver go up in the market price action is going to be central banks returning to quantitative easing or the money printing. Right now, they're talking about tightening. I think they're going to reverse that before the end of the year, and then we're going to see silver start to make gains with anything else that's going to benefit from that. I think silver is going to gain ground in populism. It's going to be allowed to share the same media attention as Apple or Tesla, for example. So that's definitely going to pour into silver's true price discovery.
Absolutely. And I agree with that completely. You want to prepare yourself financially, and we believe that physical bullion, namely physical silver, is the way to do it. Anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by. More good content coming up. We're going to get Silver 5150 back on the Silver Joker channel as soon as we possibly can, especially with the way things are going now. We want to keep you guys informed on practical ways you can continue to put that silver in your stack. Anyway, appreciate you guys stopping by. Keep stacking. Peace.